So hello there again. So like I said in the video, I'm gonna start doing this in English so my friends in the States understand what I'm saying, because they have no clue. Especially Kim Steele. I thought he learned Swedish by now, but I guess not. So I have to do it in English, especially for him. Anyway, so I finished the reinforcement on this side. The other side I showed on the video. So this is finished, and I finished the inner fender well here, dual of them. But now the hard part starts. This cradle sits in here. There's 1, 2, 3 bolts holding it. I could build it like this, but I'm not happy about it. I need to change this. It doesn't feel right. So I need to lower, because the car is upside down. That's why I'm saying lowering, because that's the way we see it right now. So I need this one further down in the frame rails. And I think I found a way to get it down 20 millimeters. And this is tricky, because inside this one there's a reinforcement. It's spot welded. You got one there, one there, one there, one there, and I don't know if it's spot welded anything up here. So what I was going to do is I'm going to try to drill out these spot welds first, the one I can see, cut these off, because this is just welded to the frame. The most important thing is to get this center bolt exactly at the same location, because what I wanted to do, I wanted to take off 20 millimeters from here. So like if I cut this one just after the bend, and then I cut off 20 millimeters, and then I put like, it's gonna be like a lid, and then I put the lid back and weld it together. Then the bend, because I have the bend left, I'm gonna go get these rounded corners as it is right now. These I can weld back later, but the problem is, like I said, it's a reinforcement inside. So I was hoping that if I drill out the spot welds, cut the top one off, probably maybe back here something, because I have to, this one sticks out, that's the bolt hole, so it sticks out this much. So when I lower this 20 millimeters, I don't want it to catch, this edge catches on the frame here. So I'm gonna probably cut it over here and try to get the top one off first. If I can get the top one off first, then I'm okay. But like I said, I'm going to cut this off, because these I can just cut off 20 millimeters from the bottom, and then when I put this back with the center bolt, I can just slide them in under here, put the bolt in them, and then spot weld it to the frame where it's supposed to be. Both, so all 3 bolts are in at the same time, and I spot weld these in, take the cradle off, and completely weld them on. So, but 20 millimeters, that's most I can If I'm lucky, I can lower 20 millimeters. That will give me 20 millimeters more travel suspension. Right now it's only 65 millimeters from this upper control arm to hit the frame. I have 65 millimeters when the wheel is where I want in the wheel weld. But so I get 20 millimeters more suspension travel up, and I also get a better angle on the prop shaft, because the way it was now, the angle was, I thought, in my mind, the angle was too steep. I don't like it that way. It was like 4.6 degrees, but it works. That's no problem, but I didn't like it. So that's why. If I get 20 millimeters lower, this rear axle cradle, that would do a lot in suspension travel and drive shaft. So let's start by drilling these spot welds. See how it goes. Well, this is it. I hope this is gonna work. Doesn't work, pretty much down the creek. Well, I guess it's just started cutting. It's too bad I can't use the plasma. They've been really fast with the plasma cutter, but I can't use it because it's double-sided. There's one inside too. So, use the angle grinder. Wish me luck. There was some attention here when I cut this open. I think I'm gonna remove the rear end to get less weight in the back here when I cut this, because this is part of holding everything together. So I gotta do that. So I'll see you in a little bit after I remove the rear end, get this body a little bit lighter. Let's see if we can get this off now. I cut it all around. So this is the lid I'm talking about. It's still attached in the front here somewhere. See if I can figure it out. Could be some spot welds under this rusted area. I think that's a spot weld. Let's see if we can drill it out. There's one, but I don't know if it's only for this plate, but I think one is here. Like that. Now I got the lid off. I'm planning on reusing this. Just gonna weld this hole together. So my plan was, if I cut off 20 millimeters around the whole thing, in and outside, and then put this back, I have lowered it 20 millimeters. Or if you have the car the right way, you get the rear suspension 20 millimeters closer to the body up. But we got this reinforcement inside that needs to be 20 millimeters lower too. And the problem is, I mean, if I cut the outside I can cut the inside, but I can't get to weld the inside. Well, maybe I can do it from inside the car. I have to look at that. But you guys think my idea is gonna work? Because this one needs to stay here. That's where the bolt hole is. For the center bolt on the rear cradle. So maybe I can cut both of them at the same time, and they're gonna get exactly the same height, but this one has to be a little bit higher than the outside to this one. So what I should do is probably, after I cut this one, I should spot weld it to this one and put this on and mark from the, to see how much I have to cut off the inside one. This is not a rush job. And this is just one side. other side later, but the first side always takes longer because you have to figure things out, make it the right way. Well, I guess you just start measuring out 20 millimeters and cut that out. I'm gonna check the inside too and see how much room I have to get to this one from the inside. Because right now it's open, it's a lot open, but I gotta get the MIG nozzle in there to get to it. There we go. I cut 20 millimeters off here, both sides. I'm gonna cut off this reinforcement and take 20 mil off that one. Like this, huh? I cut this support. Goes in here. And fits on here. Where am I? There. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld the support to this outer piece and then weld the other piece to the body, because I was looking from the inside and I got enough room to weld this one back in its original place here from the inside. So, because if I weld it here, I'm not sure I'm gonna get it exactly to line up with all the holes. So it's easier to weld it from the inside later on. But I'm gonna clean this up. You can't weld on this. I'm gonna clean this up, and this side. Now I'm gonna have access to it, and then I'll weld this one on here. If I can get it to line up there. I just use the spot welds, the factory spot welds. I grind them down and then I fill in a new one. Like this. And like I said before, it's crucial where this bolt hole gets. The front and the rear is less important. That's the one that matters. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I drew a line here, and I also got a line down here inside the fender well. So when I put this on, I just line up the lines, and I also have to weld the inside first, because the outside was tension on when I cut it. The inside was no tension. So if I weld it on the inside first, then I'm going to get the right distance between this one and the other one, so it matches the rear axle cradle or support frame, whatever you want to call it. But that's what I'm going to do. So I'll weld it from the inside later on. This was actually, it went a lot smoother than I thought. Then I just block this off, back and rear. So I'm excited, finish it up. So I can put the rear axle back on and see the suspension travel and the driveshaft angle. So let's get busy. Here we go then. This one is done. Spot welded back. Fixed the hole that I made here from that spot weld. This one is back. Put some extra metal here. Stiffen it up. I've cleaned. Inside here I've cleaned so you can weld it. This one is all clean. So I guess it's time to put this one in place. You put in a bolt here, it's easier to handle it. So like I said, gotta do the inside first. So I'm gonna turn the car over on its side so it's easier to get this lined up properly. So I'll see you in a little bit. Well, the inside is done. Do the outside. So like I said before, this one was a tension on this outer wheel weld. So used a couple of screwdrivers and some clamps, and I got it in line here now. So I just clamp it the whole way while I spot weld it. So let's put this in place so we can take the clamps off. Like that, huh? About heat. Finish welding this. Do the end caps. And start on the other side. I guess that's it for this video. Almost done with one side. You see in the background. So it's just a little bit left. But I'm running out of time if I'm going to get a video out on Saturday. And what's left is not really anything to show on YouTube. But let me explain a little bit. So I welded this side finished. I gotta do the end caps on both sides. And then it's these. And why I don't put this on now, well, let me tell you. Oops, there's the other one. When I'm done the other side finished, I'm putting the cradle on here, the rear subframe. Without, damn, that's noisy. Without these, just putting it bolted in the middle hole. And my line is perfect. Right where it was before I started. Perfect. So anyway, I'm gonna bolt it into the center holes, and then I'm gonna make it level, because before I did this modification, it was tilted a little bit backwards, and that gave you the wrong caster on the rear wheels. So what I do is I put the cradle on here, and then I put this on here, and I can adjust, especially this one, I can adjust up or down to get the rear end exactly level, so the caster will be okay. Same with this one. Because there are pretty big holes in the cradle, so you can move this a couple of millimeters either way, and 1 millimeter, that's a lot in degrees on the caster. So I think that this is gonna be it for this video. I was really worried about this, but it turned out better than I expected. I got an extra 20 millimeters at least. Yeah, at least 20 millimeters. So I think that's going to be it for this video, this Saturday video. And I'm going to try by Wednesday. I have the other side down and the subframe up here. And then we spot weld these in. Spot weld them. Put the rear diff back in the cradle and see how did I do with the transmission, the drive shaft angle, and we can put on the control arm, raise the wheel up and see how much suspension travel I gained by doing this. I'm gonna try to make this done by Wednesday. We test all that stuff. So I appreciate you watching. I really appreciate it. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so happy to sharing this project with you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.